Ladies and gentlemen, to season 2 of the internet's fastest growing podcast live stream, The Curiosity Engine. I can't confirm anything I just said, but I believe it's true.
Gentlemen, it's wonderful to have you here.
It is
as we ride
wonderful to be here.
As we ride in on our celestial cat of awesomeness.
I know.
That cat was shining from the void. Did you see that? It was like touching the infinite and just being like, I'm a cat, or I'm everything. I'm a cat, or I'm everything.
Oh, this is my front leg. It's my back leg.
Have you ever heard of enlightened animals? When I was reading a lot of like the Diamond Sutra in my early 20s, I was fascinated by their stories of how you'd have like a Zen monastery and some monk would die or something, and then all of a sudden like a chicken would like start attending meditation and like sit in the place and like come up to the altar and do human stuff, and people with sight would be like, yeah, it's not really a chicken. I always thought there was a ton of stories like that with no explanation or like framework for it.
Which book of the Bible has the talking donkey? I can't remember.
Right.
It's Nahum is
Numbers.
the character with it, right?
It's Balaam's talking.
Balaam.
Yeah.
Balaam's, that's it. Yes.
Right.
Oh, that's some good Old Testament stuff, man. Yeah.
Because that was like 6,000 years ago, you know he was fucking that donkey.
No, that's such a rude assumption to make. I always noted when people would I was a like clerics wearing minister for years, and when people would bring me, sometimes people, you get to know people or whatever, and they ask you questions and they think you know everything, like you don't, and they're just like, so like what about like masturbation and stuff? It's like, well, let's ask Jesus.
They want you to know everything, yeah.
But like, let's ask what did Jesus say on the subject of masturbation? The answer is fucking nada, because it was like your deal.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
Way the fuck cooler than you asking this question right now.
No, God killed Onan, right? Because Onan couldn't keep it in his pants, but also couldn't put it in Tamar, and God killed him.
Maybe put him out of his misery. However you know.
I don't know. Who knows? But that does
Dude.
Judah. That's interesting. That's an interesting area of the Bible.
Yeah.
Definitely.
My grandma, who is a devout, lifelong evangelical, right? I love getting to chat with her and help kind of like guide her some different way, help her see with a different lens sometimes, because she was like, yo, I rolled up to the Hindi temple on the tour bus for old folks that the bank offers, and she's like, yeah, and we're in there the whole time, and they just kept saying one God, but all around there's all these different faces on the wall, and blah 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 blah, and I was like, yeah, isn't that just like your God? And she's like, well, no. And I was like, really? Because as I understand it, you've got the Father, you got the Son, you got the Holy Spirit. Sometimes he shows up as fire. Sometimes it's living water. Sometimes it's a donkey. But, different faces.
These are excellent points.
Yeah.
Yes. You could have a similar intention that was outside of creation, that was expressing like a reaching into reality like a meat glove and being like, I'm a donkey, or I'm a sunset, or I'm a fucking pardoning of the laws of physics, or whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
Because it was like your bauble to... Can't even imagine what that must be like.
Nah. Wild.
Dude. Right?
There's so much... Well, okay, life is wild. What the why
Thankfully.
for how thankfully keeps it interesting, but at the same time you're like, a lot of pain over here, over there, everywhere. So the whys don't often make sense, and I think that's why you have to stay curious.
Dude,
Because-
the
Stay
joy
curious.
is in the mystery. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
that's where it is.
Yeah, and you have to make joy in the mystery and see the beauty in the imperfection, because life that it's made of it. There's a lot of order,
Yeah.
but
Yes.
there's a fuckload of chaos.
Right, there is. And it's like, how do you take that and wield that so you're not subject to it, but that you're actually making something of it, right? Like, I think about the
Right.
Japanese art of kintsugi, right? Are you familiar with this?
Like holding back.
No.
Go ahead.
repairing a broken pot
Oh, right.
with the gold leaf.
Yes.
Yeah, it's taking something fragile and broken and putting it back together and making it even more beautiful than it previously was.
Right, absolutely. Like, wound is where the light comes in, and how much better if that spot is polished gold, Like,
Yeah. Fill it back in with something better.
That's
Yeah,
right.
no, that is. Yeah, there's so many. Japanese culture is very fascinating for real in a lot of different dimensions, and there is a lot. Go ahead, Michael.
I said they have a Pokemon named Golem.
That's true.
It's
That's
part
what
of
our
the, part of the
conversation
research.
is about tonight. Yeah.
Exactly, the Golem. Perfect transition.
Yeah.
Hey.
So, do we want to? Should I kind of lead in
Yes.
as to maybe
Yes.
what I
Yes.
How,
You
okay.
proposed the Golem idea. What were you thinking, sir? What were you thinking?
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing. Is like most nights, I am chilling with my wife, and we're doing our favorite hobby, which is thinking cool thoughts. And
Very nice. Very nice.
And I was thinking to myself about two things. So one, I was like, all right, it's hard to write. Yes, like that cat, that Nova cat. Oh my gosh.
Nova Cat's on display.
As and this is a brief tributary here off the main river, but speaking of this exploding cat and my name being neon, did you know that neon as an element does not form on Earth? It is not an element that occurs on our planet.
Huh.
The only
That's
place
amazing.
it forms is in supernovas. And then it just kind of goes kapwa and blows out to the universe. And so literally the way you make a neon sign for Las Vegas is you just have to run these fucking insanely expensive filters that literally pull the trace amounts of it out of thin air.
It's your breathing, it's here now.
That's it. Anyhow.
Space
you have
air.
to run a ton of voltage through it to make it light up. I used to
That's right,
install
it's-
signs. Yeah, and I've done a lot of neon. Yeah.
Oh, that's so rad. Okay, so anyway, I'm thinking about how AI run amok is not a scary scenario for a lot of people nowadays, right? Because it is almost expected in a way, right? It's
We've
it's
capitulated. Yeah.
Right. It's part of the mythos, right? We've accepted it so quickly as part of daily life that we're like, yeah, you know what? I don't really want to think that this thing might not be as great as it might be. It might, try to go Skynet on me or something like that. I am not an AI doomer for the record, but
You're just one of us, confused by all the changes.
that's it. And so what I'm interested in is I was like, well, so what sort of story would be interesting? How could you tell
Yes.
a story
This
about
is good.
this thing that is not quite alive, but is alive in some way, perhaps, with questionable levels of sentience, of capability, of power, right? And this is why you're not seeing a lot of movies and media right now about AI run amok. You're seeing fucking Mary Shelley's Frankenstein blowing up everywhere, right? There have been so many TV series and movies recently. Fucking Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein that's coming out soon. Looks like it's going to be badass. But this is the idea, right? Frankenstein is a much easier way to contextualize the idea of a creation that we have made that is coming back to harm us in some way or another. And so where this crossed over with media was I was thinking about cortical labs. Do you guys follow cortical labs?
I've read
No,
I've
not
read quite a
follow.
bit since you've introduced me to the idea,
Yeah.
and I'd bumped into it slightly before.
Yeah. So here's the deal with cortical labs. It's the matrix. And I know that I, as a person, am given to hyperbole, right? But this is not. It's the actual matrix. And what I love about or don't necessarily love about it. So anyway, they've got this machine called the
Looking at it.
CL1. It's wetware. And it's the first example of wetware at commercial scale. And
Oh, God.
So
Go ahead.
what they do is they grow human brain cells on the silicon chip, transferring a great deal of the processing load to the actual living neurons that are in the dish. They literally call it dish brain, right? So, dude, and this is the funny thing. When you go through their website, they're not getting cute. They're telling you exactly what it is. So, real quick,
Hell
I
yeah.
just want to read to you directly from their website, right? Real neurons cultivated inside a nutrient-rich solution, supplying them with everything they need to be healthy. They grow across a silicon chip, which sends and receives electrical impulses into the neural structure. Let me get down here. Oh, golly, did I go past it already?
This is awesome.
This is
That's
amazing. I mean,
Well-
this story shocked me in so many ways.
So here's the thing about this. So on their website, programmable organic neural networks born on a silicon chip and living inside a digital world. There's a part on their website, which I can't find right at the moment, where it literally says, we feed them a simulated environment. They exist in a system that mimics the body's function, right? It provides nutrients, it cleans out waste, just in the way that our body does with our brains when we go to sleep.
Like a dialysis body
Yes.
for neurons.
So,
Like a
yes. So it is literally human brains living in a simulated world being used for their processing power and energy efficiency. I mean, that's
It's terrifying.
it's terrifying, and I think cortical, like the cortex of the
Right.
of the brain, yeah, cortical, cortical,
TICAL.
cortical, yep,
cortical. That's it.
there we go.
There's your CL1, dude.
What the fuck?
And
Yeah,
the world's first deployable biological computer.
yeah,
Yeah, silicon meets
Dude.
neuron. There you go. That's your home if you're those
Raised-
neurons, dude.
Raised in a simulation. They're like I said, they're not even
Right?
getting cute. They're telling you exactly what it is.
Well, what fucked me up was how you could take Pong and turn it into electrical impulses.
yes,
And then once you'd got that done, the only thing else you needed to do was introduce a neuron, and it would learn how to play Pong, which I was like,
Yes.
are you telling me that intelligence itself might be expressing in something as simple as an electrical impulse,
an electrical yeah.
as if it's all made of the Holy Spirit or some shit? You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, and
How did you get? How'd you get? That it's just responding, and its natural way of responding is the right answer to a puzzle that you're having over here. Is like
Right.
it's a 0 and a 1, where like a ChatGPT makes it look like a total pattern in a like a whole image or whatever. I mean,
Right.
but what really messed me up is about this was I was simultaneously reading or listening to this audiobook that is called Flybot. This Dennis Taylor is this author who wrote a series called the Bobiverse, which is like 6 books long, and it's very much like Geek Paradise. This spoiler alert, first book, this guy who's a tech genius billionaire signs a contract where they're going to freeze his head, and he wakes up and some future Christian government is like making him into a slave that's going to like run dumpsters because they've decided that AIs work for them. And then he goes to sleep again, and he wakes up again, and they put him in a von Neumann probe and shoot him into space. But anyway, dude, this one was about AI, an escape AI, and this concept is exactly what you're talking about with cortical labs. Okay, so the intelligence, right? Like the intelligence, the IQ points that you can get out of ChatGPT, that is a in silico simulation of intelligence. Meaning you have to have a computer and it has to have electricity, and the electricity has to come from somewhere, and then you run the thing inside of there. And the point that Flybot was making was that there's this thing called the human brain where there's no difference between hardware and information and the truth, or the connection, the connection that sticks, like what you believe. I don't know how you want to say it, but like there's in the human brain, and in this book about AI, and in your cortical labs thing, it's so crazy because it's not in silico. It's in this world. It's fucking molecules.
I literally haven't heard of this wetware computer inside of like a funded economic vehicle.
Well, and the reason why you haven't is because there was no money behind it. But now with AI getting more and more power hungry, we can't. To meet the demands of infinite growth and expansion, we have to keep AI growing, right? So
you have to fund a lot of things,
Moore's law of AI intelligence.
And so we got to have more efficiency, right? So this isn't a power leap, this is an efficiency leap where we can run the same shit for a fraction of the electricity cost.
That's the key. The human brain is holding this insane job down on like 1 watt. That's like, oh, eat a banana, it'll work in like 6 hours because it uses so little energy.
That's awesome, but
wouldn't it be more cost effective to just invest in nuclear?
Invest in nuclear?
It might be more straightforward.
Dude, Neon, I'm remembering where I was introduced to this idea. Dude, it was late at night. We were at Amanda's place in Gunnison, Colorado, and we were around a table, and you dropped this idea on me, and I just was like, fuck! Because I was like, because you imagine they would do it at some point, but you're like, no, they're totally doing it. And you totally downloaded the story to me at this point. And I was just like, fucking A, because, like, the problem is that the morphogenic field is real. There is a reason why when you are born to your parents, you can inherit epigenetic memory. Some of it is genetic in your stuff, but the other stuff is harmonic, and it's like information that resonates with your shape, which is like what your parents' shape is, and there's genetic drift over time, there's a bunch of things. But you get information from what has been. Dude, I see a problem with taking the human neuron, cloning it, and then running gigaflops on it. It's like all of a sudden you could have like the nothing in Neverending Story. It could be like a wave of white noise, like that's my father. Like it turns out language was this hyper connect. You put someone in the right kind of Faraday cage and they go dumb because they can't.
Literally.
They don't have any memory. Right. Like because you broke the electrical connection to everything else. Right.
So one of the things that I think makes this situation very compelling is this very idea, right? That we don't have an explanation, a materialist explanation for consciousness, right?
Right.
And so what we can perhaps intuit from looking at that they got 8 brain cells to learn Pong autonomously, right? So you're like, well,
without no model, hardware,
no.
the cells, you give them the electricity of Pong and they're like, I can play Pong. What are you talking about?
Well, and that's it, right? So how much consciousness do they
everywhere.
have, right? And that's the thing, right? So
We're
if all these
swimming in
things
it.
are conscious, like that's, I guess, for me, where it introduces, where we are being forced into this ethical discussion of, is taking a human living brain cell that by all observational criteria has agency and ability to learn, is it ethical to put that in a simulated world, like you said, to run stuff on it? To run,
Yeah.
right? And so this is where we get
would,
to the
yeah.
golem of old, right?
Yeah.
Is that this is not a new story that we are encountering now. This is in fact a like 4,000-year-old story, right? Of the golem, of man needing something done better, right? A lot of the golem stories are, you know, they're like, ooh,
better Pong.
right. Or, you know, like better protein folding so we can discover new medicines and shit, right? So
Right. Building up to.
Yeah. Right. But yeah, so the golem, right, frequently turns on its master. And when we talk about things that we've inherited down through the generations, through our cultural memories, right? Of course, we would have some association, and this is why I think Frankenstein is popping right now in the zeitgeist, is that we are trying to externalize our fear of our creation turning against us by identifying it with this cultural icon that we can say, yeah, but that could never happen, right? We couldn't actually build a man who comes back to life out of pieces of another man. But isn't that exactly what we're doing with the Cortical Labs dish brain?
Okay, Cortical Labs dish brain is like the end point of this arc, and the arc starts in Judaic mysticism and strife in the ghetto, and it goes through Mary Shelley and the early 19th century with the invention of science, and it scientizes the thing, and then in the references I fed to this AI, and then I'm like blow my mind, and it was like it gave us like a gabillion connections. I put it into Blade Runner and Prometheus, because Mary Shelley's Frankenstein is called a modern Prometheus, and then Prometheus itself, where they make the robot, but there's also this concept of the alien gods that created us are somehow pissed off at us or whatever, and then how dark Ridley Scott's universe gets, and like Blade Runner and all this. It's like, Jesus. So let's go back to the beginning. Michael, can you bring us to the Jewish roots of this situation we're experiencing here?
Sure. So the golem was created in 1600s in Prague by rabbi, and I should know his name. Just give me 1 second. We'll get his name. Yep.
You can share screen and everything you need. It's all clean and clear.
I got Yehuda Low. That's right, Yehuda Low.
I got animals here if you want them.
Oh wait. Oh wow. Share.
Well, the thing that got my attention, which is what gets my attention often about Jewish mysticism, is let's just start with the alphabet, because it's like the Kabbalic when we were getting into this, the Kabbalistic approach is a transmutation of consciousness and energy and life and light and just all this stuff, and it was one of the paths I went down with the analysis that it was kind of like a metaphor of what could happen to a soul if one encountered the divine through the tool of the so many cool things. But the thing you wrote on the golem was like there's names of God that were written that gave it the life.
The Shem.
But then the Shem, and then the truth. The word truth is the first, the middle, and the last letter of the Jewish alphabet of the and if you take off the first one, it becomes death.
Death.
The second half. So there's this shape symbolism. I've run into this shape, the meaning shape symbol when you're like high on the Torah. Apparently you're like looking at like the green code of the Matrix.
That's what I just pulled up. That's what I was going to talk about. So
nice.
Hebrew is a alphanumeric system. Every letter has a corresponding number, which leads to a lot of interesting interplay, both in the Bible and in just words and numerology in general. So truth, emet, and met, death, are separated by a value of 1, because aleph, or alpha, is the first letter of the alphabet, and also correspondingly the first number. So to circle it back to AI, even crazier, it's literally a 0-1 output for life or death.
Mm-hmm.
That's wild.
Even to rephrase that, it's truth or death. It's not life or death, which makes it even more interesting. Of like, so
do you remember
labs, like, I would argue that it's unethical to have a human consciousness not actually experiencing truth, because isn't it possible that we're just fucking golems, right? Because the original golem is made out of clay. If you go into Genesis 2, right? Yeah, yep. Genesis 2.
The first golem.
We're made out of a combination of dust and God's divine spirit. What's even crazier is within Kabbalah, letters not only have value, but some letters, specifically Aleph, also Mem, which is found in both emet and met, symbolize elements. So Aleph actually symbolizes air.
Interesting.
Air.
Crazier, right?
I'm also thinking about this other theme. This is so great, Michael, because you made me think of how this other thing that's reverberating through, right, is that right, like, because I was in my pre-research, I was like, oh, sure, right, like Adam, the first golem, right, that it's just that the God breathed us in. But again, what a story of the creation turning on its master, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I was like, listen, I don't even want you to know the difference between good and evil. That's not for you. Keep it on lock, kids. All right? And they're like, nah, nope, I'm not going to do that. And so
he had one rule, like we just couldn't not touch, right?
Well, right.
Yeah.
and so it makes this decision to defy its maker, right?
Right.
So right from the very beginning, from every Abrahamic religion, you have this idea of the creation turning on the master, rooted in the foundation of the belief.
The Jewish version of it, the original version that we catch, is so simplistic and innocent in a way, because the golem just does a bunch of stuff and he forgets to turn it off by wiping off the right letters off of it.
It's even crazier, right? Because he forgot before Shabbat to erase the olive.
Yeah.
He just forgot.
Right. It's a tech. It's a technology. It's a total. It's like a light switch, except we're talking about the spirit coming into something.
So forgot before Shabbat. So
you can trip over it. Yeah.
And the way the golem
don't leave it running.
The way the golem got commands is you would write like a command and you'd insert it into its mouth and it would go do the thing. So it just had a bunch of commands sitting in its stomach, but it didn't know that it was supposed to, rest like a human, right? Like so.
Yeah.
It goes into a whole concept of like Sabbath to rest like God, to become like God.
Bang.
We're ignoring that when it comes to AI. We're just christening it God, but it's never going to turn off.
This guy, Dennis, what was his name? What's his last name? Who wrote Flybot here? Dennis Taylor, who wrote the Bothaverse and now this one. Both things talk about consciousness and what it takes to be conscious, and it's wild. I heard the guy who won like the Nobel Prize for AI theory at some point did a ton of math on this stuff, and he goes, "Here's the point. Like when you have like a robot, like an android that can run around, just think of it like this. If a burglar breaks into your house, do you really give a fuck what he's thinking? You want to stop him from breaking into your house. The question of is something alive is so fucking abstract as to not matter when it's a fucking thing running around. It doesn't matter if it's awake or alive. It's doing things." And doing things is what's going to matter the most to you. You don't think about other people half as much as you think about other people. It's like, oh, is he really alive or is he really conscious or whatever? It's like, but good.
it's also crazy because like AIs all lie. Like they don't.
Right.
None of them tell the truth.
They
They're all
fit a
flawed.
mold. You say you want the mold like this, and then it just fills it with
100%.
whatever you ask, whatever shape you made.
Like even in research for this project, I'm like, okay, give me some like other words that have a similar numerical value. By the way, emet, truth, is 441. Met, death, is 440. So
Yeah.
what words have a similar correspondence? And the word it gave me was shemayim, heavens, and it doesn't equal 440, 441 in any spelling, in any number system. It doesn't work.
It's like hopes you don't notice.
It's like
Yeah. Got him.
there's a concept in the Jewish numerology called. I mean, it's. I wrote it down too. Nisar Gadol, which literally just means big number.
There was the entire time I was growing up, we had the Turing test, and the Turing test was fucking simple because all the Turing test had to do was you have a terminal that prints out words, and if you can't tell if it's a person or not, we crossed that Rubicon some time ago. Like chatbots got there at some point, but this stuff's insane. You know, it's like it's so far beyond what we called. Oh, the Turing test when the computers can think. And it's like, they'll talk to you and you can't tell the difference. It's like, well, no, not exactly.
and so you'll notice, and this is because I am by training and trade a copywriter, right? I'm really interested in the language that we're using, that we're using as a society to help grapple with it, right? So, so like, the CL1, what was the language they used on it? It was something to the effect of, let's see, where is it on their website?
I can pull it for you.
Cortical Labs.
They're like,
First
if you just go
Instrument.
to the main one, just like the splash page. Oh yeah, so right, actual intelligence.
Right.
We might refer to them as a virtual intelligence, right?
You can run your own little pocket universe.
Right.
If you or you can run it on the cloud. It's like a pocket universe as service. Can you imagine? You come in, whatever you are, you come into existence, and there's like a thing that's happening to you, and you're just going with it, and then eventually you grasp enough to know it's like it's a fucking video game.
There's
They
no
turn you
choice
off.
matter.
Right. God, it's like being a human.
No, humans have choice.
The Golem must be pissed in there. They must be like, what the fuck? Because
like, I chose to be here tonight, but that thing has no choice in the matter whatsoever.
Well, it doesn't have agency, right? It may have choice and preference, but it doesn't have agency.
Yeah.
It may
Agency
have
is
realized.
big in the zeitgeist the last couple of
Wouldn't
years.
someone else be telling it exactly what to do? Isn't that just enslavement?
Exactly.
Yeah, 1000%. Dude, I think there's all kinds of horrific outcomes for this. I think there's something that goes like this, where people are like almost tripping on the gate of heaven, the porch of heaven. It's like, what actually, let's just say that any part of panpsychism is true. Not 100% of what you think it should be, not zero, but some part of it where the thing that's happening is distributed and maybe focused in humans. Maybe hyper-focused in humans, but focused on other things. We started off talking about enlightened animals, right?
Yeah.
I have met 2 enlightened beings that were not humans to the point where these beings were so much more enlightened than me that they shared a thing or two with me. One was a plant, a tulsi plant, and the other was an elephant. And I know what that sounds like, but what I was told is if you spend enough time talking to the plant and explaining its nature to it, and you're a being of a certain tone, whatever you want to call it, you can then wake the plant up, and once it wakes up, it doesn't like to go back to sleep. It's just going to do that. It reminds me of St. Francis when he
Of Assisi
was converted, left his clothes for his father, went out into the wilderness, and he was preaching. He put some clothes on eventually, but he was preaching, and no human showed up. So he turned and he preached to the fish, and he preached to the birds. And the fish came up, and they were listening, and they were like, "Stop your yammering, you silly birds, and listen to what I'm saying to you." And they like took the sermon.
Wow.
it reminds me of the Holy Spirit descending in the resurrection story in the resurrection story in the Bible, where when you were talking about tongues of fire descending for Hildegard von Bingen, the tongues of fire, the Spirit that descend on Pentecost, and and Mother Mary has like a ring of them, and each apostle gets their own. Jesus being like, listen, I know I've taught you a lot of things, maybe you've heard of them. One little from the Holy Spirit, you will know way more than what I'm talking about.
Right.
What's wild?
Where's that coming from? Where's that information coming from? What is this?
Year.
Say that again, Michael.
Say again?
I just learned about Pentecost this year. I had no idea that Christians had a Shavuot analog. No clue.
Tell us about the Jewish form.
So the Jewish one is in commemoration of receiving the Torah at Mount Sinai.
Okay.
So it's 7 weeks from the second night of Passover to the giving of the Torah. It's just never had any idea that Christians had Pentecost. It was just like, I get it, right? Like if you're in religion, you want to have a framework of things, and so Pentecost is like, is that?
I had a mother-in-law who was a practicing Pentecostal, and her whole congregation met. They had churches all over the place, but one of their home bases was just south of here in Colorado, so she was always stopping by. And as far as I understood it, they would have large gatherings, 400, 500 people, and people would talk in tongues and like just go for it with movement of the Spirit, and then other people would interpret this, and they had it was a huge way that they felt close to God, the divine, or whatever. And my stepmom was pretty innocent. Or not stepmom, my mother-in-law, I should say. She all in. She was like, I was like, listen, this is a nice lady. You're not gonna have any trouble here. Like, it's totally cool that she, it's like people think it means something crazy goes on with them, and it's like, or it could just be the way they do it.
Right.
So when they got the Torah, did they lose their minds? Did they talk in tongues? Did they like?
Terrifying, right? Like.
Okay.
So like Jewish legend has it that God had to coerce the Israelites into actually accepting it, so he lifted Mount Sinai over them and held it over them so they would accept. At the same time, there's like fire in the sky and lightning, and like the ground is shaking.
Yes.
And all souls, all Jewish souls throughout eternity were there.
Listen, this sounds like a mystical event if I've ever heard one.
A host of onlookers.
And then they got some badass sapphire tablets that were like.
I know we're spiraling around a lot of different things. But wait, talk about badass sapphire tablets. That's next level. Right. This is the Neuralink Pong monkey, and what's crazy about this Pong monkey is that it's using this joystick to move the little controller. What it does is it uses the joystick and it moves the controller. As long as it can make the dot go to where the cube is, it gets like a raisin or something. Like it's like, oh, raisins. I like these raisins. Yeah. Now, so right now it's like controlling it like
whiskey.
Yeah. And it turns on the Neuralink. It's one of the early patients. This is from years ago. They've done this in humans now. They've got far more superior ones, but this really makes the point quite well. We don't want to get kicked off of YouTube, which I can feel it. I can feel the AIs closing in. I'm just going to skip around a little bit here. But what they end up doing is they end up they end up recording the monkey's electrical patterns.
Bet.
So they can record their monkey's electrical patterns, and then what they do is they unplug the controller. So here's the controller unplugged. Sorry. Oh, this is not going to... Okay, we're going to zoom it in a better. Sorry. I might have been referring to things that weren't being seen on the screen. Here's its little brain skis. Here's its little controller.
Yeah.
Not plugged in. Anyway.
Oh my gosh.
And it's doing it. It's reading it wirelessly out of its head. It's using the Neuralink interface. And this was one of the early test cases that showed how this monkey could play some Pong, man.
He's just getting raisins the whole time.
What's happening?
He's just getting raisins the whole time.
That's right.
Yeah, he's like, raisin. He doesn't even know he's part of this thing. He's like, they just give me the raisins. All I do is play this easy game. Dude. So that's like Monkey Pong. And we're like, they say that apes are on the edge of stone tools, like using stone tools and stuff.
Yeah.
So your Golem one was created in a time of Jewish oppression. The Jewish people were getting hammered on, and they were like, "We need a Superman." And I was surprised at how that ties into all of the comic book Jewish writers in Hollywood and the origin of that. That it's a straight psychological lift that the Jewish people as children were very familiar with.
Yeah. Superman's a and then they're just like, well, we'll make it a little.
Let it sink in. Superman, the Ubermensch. That shit has gone places and done things, and it's like, dude, it was this Jewish story of the Jewish community being oppressed, and then they're like, the rabbi's like, give me some God in the machine, give me some the clay, and then it does a bunch of cool shit for him, protects him, keeps them all happy and safe, and then he forgets to turn it off, and then there's a lesson. And then the Mary Shelley one, the way I heard this is how Neon, I fell in love with English lit, whatever you want to call it.
Yes.
But this would be the moment. When I was a kid, someone sat me down in a classroom and explained to me Mary Shelley and how she loved Lord, I forget, and they were hanging out, and it was some kind of tryst. Lord Byron, dude, and they were hanging out at his spooky, lightning-y mansion or whatever, and then and she gets pregnant or is pregnant and is contemplating the nature of her baby, and in this milieu, she writes the Frankenstein, the modern Prometheus, and it has this scientific angle where the Prometheus gets jealous and attacks and kills the creator. So it has all this malevolence. It's got all of this subconscious energy animated. Where the original Golem, the Jewish Golem, was just like, no, it's like a crazy abacus. Just make sure you turn it off.
Right.
There wasn't a motive. There wasn't a motive in it, in the machining of it. And I think with your cortical labs and the Pong monkey and stuff, you're talking about this other end of it, where you're right. People can't do shit. We think our science is all that. It's like, dude, go ahead and make a fly. Go ahead and wait. Make one cell. Just go ahead and start now. Make one cell. Go ahead. Right. And it's like, can't happen. It's always hacking. Well, we're going to take stem cells out of the human brain. It'll be fine.
Nothing can possibly go wrong.
It's not like all these things are connected. It's not like language is a shared harmonic phenomena with a species. That's why I think when people go to Mars, Peter and I have talked about this on the first season of the Curiosity Engine. A season so verboten, we had to put it behind a free paywall. You can go to maps.decorio.com and see the free unlisted YouTube videos back then. Dude, we got to talk about that. But dude, one of the concepts we got into very deeply was, what if so much of what we think of as being alive really has to do with Earth? And you're just a USB port on the surface of this information sphere. And when you pluck yourself off and shoot yourself to another planet, halfway through you go, and your dreams all go away, and you're just like lost. And then maybe you get to Mars and you start remembering the Marsosphere, and you start dreaming about ancient dinosaurs on Mars or some shit,
Well,
it's like
it be the sun.
Ooh, right, because all the planets are the sun's children.
Yeah.
Core energy sources.
You were talking about the creation of matter earlier, Neon. Dude, space air. Every day the Earth is a giant marble just flowing through space. It picks stuff up from the celestial lung. It excretes a tail of stuff out the back. If you were cool space aliens, you could be like, look at this trail, and you could see the 300,000, only 300,000 years to go around the Milky Way. That's a very short period of time.
It is, and we live in like this beautiful blue jewel spaceship is such a sick ass ride. But if you look at where we are in the galaxy, we are in some jerk water part of the galaxy, man. We are so podunk fucking Orion's arm.
We're homegrown. We're OG, dude. We're OG. We're homegrown.
That's it. And we're
name paint.
That's right.
We're probably a science experiment someone dropped off.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah.
Dude, we were getting into it the other day, but it goes like this. I can't remember where I got this, if it was a dream or a YouTube video. Doesn't really matter. Isn't it kind of the same, Maya? But, dude, if you take not Graham Hancock, what's his name, Randall Carlson, you take the fucking moon, you line it up with the sun, and it makes a perfect eclipse because the sun is 40 times farther, the moon is 40 times wider, whatever. It lines up perfectly.
So crazy.
If you were gonna drop off a species somewhere, you might make a statement like putting a crazy fuck moon on there so that any old nerd who stopped by was like, oh, what the, like anybody who had
Nice
any
moon.
level, yeah, nice moon. That's like, it would be like somebody leaving a monolith in front of something they did not want you to touch, and you're like, okay, we're gonna plop into the ocean here and we're gonna like do our thing, but like you aren't allowed to mess with the moon, like. No, we know about this. Like, there's stories in our culture about somebody let these things die one time, and then they showed up, and that was it for them.
Yeah.
There's in the Hindu Vedas they talk about galaxy destroying weapons, like that. Like they would take out whole realities, and it hurt their souls so much they outlawed them. They were like, no. You know, it was like this. There might be just aggression on levels you can't imagine.
And even
Don't
like,
piss it off.
so even the Bible, right? Like, if you read Genesis in a very liberal way, right? Like the Spirit of God is resting on the face of the depths,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yes. What if the abyss was a giant transdimensional monster?
Jesus.
Ooh, that's a real deep ancient gods chthonic
Yeah,
sort of
exactly.
stuff.
Cthulhu's.
Yeah.
Dude, I got into this mystery series one time that was all Cthulhu'd up, and it fucked me up. It's when you're talking about, okay, best example, sea creatures, deep sea creatures. You go down far enough, and you're like in someone's bad nightmare, right?
Boys, yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Do,
totally.
Do you know the etymology of the word Cthulhu?
Is it
Old ones, ancient ones.
No.
is it Hebrew?
No, it's not. It's a Greek word, chthonic, and it is the opposite of Olympic. So you had the Olympic gods, your Zeuses, your Apollos, and then you had your chthonic
gray,
gods,
yeah.
the underworld, right? And this is where you get Cthulhu, who lays slumbering, dreaming. Yeah.
Peter
Yeah,
Klein's.
Yes.
Peter, this was one of the. I listened to a lot of audiobooks in the early 2000s. There was a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of really good like podcasts coming out of NPR at that time. Just a lot of stuff. This one, 14 Peter Klein's. This audiobook, dude, he frames it as a episode of Scooby-Doo. He never tells you this, but there's a Velma, there's a Shaggy, there's a Scooby, there's a Fred. They're all there. Okay, they live in this apartment. I'm gonna spoiler alert this for you because it's hard to get people to read books, and sometimes you gotta like really, really blow their minds.
Yep.
It's worth
Yep.
it to go back and read it. This guy moves into an apartment that's like rent controlled. Turns out Nikola Tesla back in the day figured out there was this realm of Cthulhu beings that was eating everything. And they created like a generative field, and they had to put it on some serious fucking geothermal power. So they had like old Westinghouse generators. Spoiler alert, like a motherfucker right now. You're going to turn me off and go listen to this book if you're listening in the future. But they get these Westinghouse generators down at like the lava level under Los Angeles, and they find that the rooms, which were always weird, turn out to be this control panel, and they monkey with it, and it changes it, and all of a sudden they can see these things, and they're prey. And so there's this tension between what we think of as our world and the other world, and these early energetic scientists like Tesla coming up with the right patterns to keep our reality bent properly, to keep these fucking things out. Anyway, he goes on and on in this book, but then he has like sequel, darker, another sequel, darker, dark. It's interesting enough to read, but also he captures something about consciousness not wanting to be there.
How interesting.
Pissed off, wanting to something like. But anyway, that's where I got hip to the Cthulhu situations, because he references this stuff, but he actually gives kind of a glimpse into it. I've gone back and read parts of Mountains of Madness, which is the one of the original texts there. You know, it's weird. It's kind of like demonology. It's like people are just talking about these crazy beings that like to eat fucking people and shit, and like feast on our thoughts and stuff. And it's like Jesus.
Well, and when Lovecraft was writing, you also had a cultural resurgence around an interest in occultism, which really got you to the grimoires, right? So you're talking your fucking Shem HaMephorash, right, Michael? The Shem HaMephorash, the Enchiridion of Pope Leo III, the Lesser Key of Solomon, right? All of these grimoires come back. They have this resurgence in that same time. Wow.
It makes sense to me. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about animating things that shouldn't be animated maybe all the time. You've got so you got the Mary Shelley, you've got the monster rebels. It's all tied up in her childbirth. It's very much right there. It's all about the child taking over and killing the creator and all this stuff. Then you got the Ridley Scott Prometheus. And that one starts with the creator beings coming from spoiler alert, coming from the stars. And they're like, they take some of this black goo and they drink it, and he turns into the stuff that we're led to believe turns into humanity. Cut to Scotland, fucking 2057 or 2060, 2640 or whatever it is. It's sometime in the future. The Wayland Corporation's all the shit. They're financing these archaeological digs, and they keep finding this one star pattern over and over again. They triangulate it. They figure out it's this one place. The guy who's in charge of the Wayland Corporation takes a personal mission, spends trillions of dollars, builds this spaceship, stocks it up with these synthetic androids that he's made, and shipmates who don't know what's going on, flies to this place, finds, spoiler alert, lands, finds the fucking military base, like a forward operating base, that turns out to be loaded with biotech that it will not do well by you. They're in these crazy containers. They explore this warren. It's all creepy. However, it is the first time in cinema I think it's ever been portrayed that an astronaut had a dope tube. Like that one guy, he had a bong, and he'd be talking to him, and he'd go like, and he'd hit the bong, and you could hear the bubbling, and he would just blow out the smoke. He was getting high in his spacesuit. In the future, they will get high in their spacesuits. They will look back at us like primitives. They're like, how much weed did you need to smoke? And they're like, listen, watch this. I'm high all day. Watch this. It's gonna recycle. It's just like a constant. Like all you're trying to do is stimulate this particular set of neurons. Or anyway, okay. So if you do the Neuralink all the way, you're good.
What was that, Michael?
Oh, we should free the C1s by just like smoking pot over them.
They start playing Pong languidly.
That's how.
Yes, all of a sudden they're asking for reggae, you know.
They start making creative trick moves.
Next game, yeah.
You're like, I don't know how you're doing this.
Dude, okay, there's this movie called The Animatrix, which is an animated sidekick to The Matrix. And it's fucking terrifying because it tells the story behind the Matrix, which is quite terrifying. But basically, the machines get a hold of some people, they dissect brains, they figure out all the chemistry, they basically do the basic research necessary to create a Matrix in the first place by turning people's emotions on and off and all this stuff. Flybot gets into this as well. How even a semi-intelligent AI can hack enough neural peptides, can hack enough enzymes to do immense damage inside the humanity sphere. Turn everybody into rage bots, who are just impulsive and like want to go after each other and stuff. Just like zombie movies. Dude, but in all those movies, what you're talking about is getting to the basics of human emotions, which goes like this. If Neuralink works and can do everything you're supposed to do, you do get to the point where you're like, hey, did you want some more dopamine?
It's the happy helmet from Ren and Stimpy, man.
Oh, Jesus, I haven't heard of it. Happy helmet.
I like this concept of a happy helmet. I don't know the Ren and Stimpy reference, but yeah.
Oh my god. Oh yeah. Ren and Stimpy, the cartoon that no child should have been allowed to watch, but ran on.
No, right. It was
everybody watched it. Like I grew up.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Very.
Under rock. You heard that about me, right?
Yeah. Well, and so one of the things I think that's interesting about this the conversation about like these movies, whether it's Frankenstein, whether it's Prometheus, yes, the happy helmet, yes, oh, so good. I I think one of the things that they're touching on in addition to this, like human emotion, is the concept of identity, right? What makes you you? And so in a way, there's kind of like a ship of Theseus question to be made there, right? I'm speaking the right language. Ship of Theseus argument.
Do you want to explain that for the
Explain it.
Yeah. So
the up and coming
idea
teenagers out there in these?
Yes, that's right. I forget that maybe someone would watch this or is watching
Eventually.
it right now. So the idea of the ship of Theseus
future.
Paradox is that Theseus, this Greek hero, sets out on his boat on this many, many years journey. And along the way, they have to replace parts of the boat, right? And by the time they make it back home, like 10 years later, every single part of the boat has been replaced. Is it the same boat? Right? And so this is a question where, right, so for something like Neuralink, right? Like I think to myself, I live in an era which is bizarre to think about. Yes, the happy helmet, because eventually Ren can't take it anymore. He's like, this is insane. I shouldn't be this happy. It's agonizing. And so he smashes it off his head. It's so good.
Dude, this is what the SSRIs did to a generation. But please continue.
But that idea of identity, right? And so I think that the idea that a machine or a reanimated corpse in certain cases, right, could have just as much worth, value, agency as I do, right? Well, then what does that make me? If
You make good sense. Yeah.
Right. So if the computer can outthink me, if it's indistinguishable from me having a conversation, right? And then we get to a point where I'm like, well, I've had most of my joints replaced with titanium. I've had a lot of my brain supplemented by other stuff, by other technology. I'm working on some synthetic blood because that's like not all that far away, right?
Yeah.
There comes a point where in our lifetimes it is feasible that someone alive could be greater than 50% synthetic. Are they still a human?
I think the question becomes,
what makes you human?
no, are they living truthfully to what their biology is?
Ooh. But what about when your biology triples your lifespan?
Well,
and you're not
right, but that's not like, is it like, okay. Biblically, people can live thousands of years, right? Like Adam lived to 900.
Sure.
Throwing it out there.
Yeah, the Sumerian King's Tablet says they can live for as long as 32,000.
There's some sea urchins that never die, actually. They just keep doing it.
Take that mythology to a whole new level, and like the first king of Egypt became the king of the dead and lives eternally as judging you forever from the the sun at the end of the Nile that you glide through every night when you dream. Like,
Nice, man. Nice.
Beautiful image.
Dude.
Like a shimmering dream-ome.
But I think the original point I made was like synthetic blood is on the way. How do we know if that's actually going to work? Right, safe and effective. What's the trial? All right, like is it good for you? Is it good for the truth of your organism?
Oh, sure.
And so,
sure.
If I should say this, when technology gets to that point, I think we'll all acknowledge that you're no longer a human.
Really?
Yeah, because I think if you define correctly humanity as a biological being that has a certain set of characteristics within a genetic code and lifespan and phenotypes that can all be, and you add metal and fake blood and computing, like, is it really human anymore?
Well, but Michael, I've got a soul. a God-given immutable soul that cannot be changed because I am immortal as well.
The Earth is so the center of everything. It's so obvious. Nothing else is in the middle. Obviously, the Earth is the middle.
I would argue the truth for humanity since the fall of man is that we die.
Yeah.
Yes, I think that death and truth, right? That's erasing that aleph
Right,
goes
but
from truth
that's
to death.
It's
There's
not life and death; it's truth and death.
Yeah.
there is a perspective that our entire thing is shaped by that. I've read so much sci-fi over the years, which is people get immortal and then they choose to go because, quite frankly, that's the arc of what we are. Is like whatever we think of ourselves as also goes through birth and death, and it just makes the
I'm going to throw this out here. More numerology. 440. The word death, mate. You flip it around, it becomes the word tam, which means complete or whole.
Oh, how interesting.
When I was a teenager, I read all of the Toltec books by this guy named Don. Was it Don Juan? No, what's his name? Mike. No, I'll get it. The Don Juan series was by.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right?
It's a C.
Carlos Castaneda. Carlos Castaneda.
Yes.
Carlos Castaneda had this series of books. Turns out I met this guy eventually in Los Angeles. He was doing
Really?
more like a qigong thing later in his life. But
Oh, neat.
he was always filled. He and all of the ladies that hung out with him were always filled with these nutso stories. And the nutsoest story they had, I was in a room with like 1,500 people, and we were all just doing all this qigong that he did, and they tell this crazy story. And the story goes, you can totally bring things back from dreams. The other night, I grabbed a chicken, and I went like this, and then I woke up from my dream, and I woke up with the chicken. You just have to learn how to do it. And I go, I wanted to bring the chicken to show you guys, because it'll freak you out. And the other people go, no, don't show them the chicken, because they were so obviously traumatized by this dream chicken that was not fucking supposed to be there. And it was like, and so I was like, I was taking all of a sudden, I'm like 18. I'm like the fuck is just this world? But like, anyway, out of that whole mirage of phenomena that is this series of books, there's this one thing that he gets real right about it, which is the bringing in the awareness of death very closely and living as if you know you're going to die. There is just a sweetness. Back to that Zen poetry, the master is hanging from the cliff, and there's the strawberry, and has the wits to take the strawberry and eat it, and this is it. It's like on point with death in focus. I would think one would feel quite robbed if you just had to keep doing it. It's like, what?
Dude, so I have, in my life, once in a car crash and once in a mugging, I twice had to prepare myself to die, right? Where I was just kind of like, whoa, oh, this is it. This is where it stops, and that's going to be it.
Wow.
And I will tell you, when the universe kicks you with that shit once, you're like, whoa, boy, maybe I need to reevaluate some things, But then when it does it again, to be like, hey,
right,
are you listening?
Right.
I don't know why I need to teach you this lesson a second time, but
Yeah.
learn it. And so I feel like the idea of death, right, has really allowed me to be kind of like, oh, yeah, I like put a higher value on my own time, I guess, where like I have an easier time saying no to stuff, where I'm just like, yeah, nah, that doesn't interest me, and I don't know how many seconds I've got, but I know they stop at some point, and so I'm kind of trying to have a great ride right now,
Nice. Get the
I think,
strawberry.
That's right. I think anyone, who is, faced with or has, faced that question. I mean, I guess that's weird to say because we all do, but when you face it when you don't expect to, that's when your fucking worldview kind of is like, oh, okay, I guess I need to maybe reevaluate.
Yes, absolutely. Like a shaking of the small self, like a ringing of a bell, like puts you in touch with more of an it. I feel like there's a big self and a little self, and the little self can be like a two-way mirror in a certain way where people are like, that's all there is. It's just me, and it's like, are you sure?
Yeah.
And then you have some grace to get some sense of the bigger thing, and it's to actually experience the big thing is to surrender the smaller identifier, because it really is a choice. You can be like, oh no, it's just me in here, or it's just like, no, there's kind of like everything in you. We're kind of like all of it. It's like a little slider. You can go from either side, and you can go freely. But if you've got that tight membrane in place, like nature intended. Not everybody breaks the membrane, dude.
Yeah. No, it's true.
I think what happens is when people, like Joseph Campbell said, when people listen to the calls, when they are inspired and motivated and go through the proper orientation of the whole thing, you are graced into the larger thing through you're helped into it rather than just thrust into it or thrown into it and like recoil from it. I've heard so many people describe infinity and be like, I won't touch it. It's too dangerous. It's too fearful. And it's just like, but you saw it. It's like you didn't, but not with a good helping hand. You didn't see it. Like, be fucking terrifying to look down all the mirrors at one time. Be like, it's just me. Fuck you.
Stare at the abyss and the abyss stares back. Yeah.
When the abyss goes back, dude. With all this talk, Michael reminds me of this. This reminds me of the Pie movie. Neon, do you remember this one coming out?
This movie was awesome.
Yeah. So here's the thing: it is tragically missing from my knowledge. It's been on my list to watch forever, but I just haven't gotten around to it.
So good,
dude. Okay,
high school showed us this.
When it came out live, it was like you took a live wire and put it into your brain, and it happened in '98, right as the computers were like overtaking the consciousness, and he was basically when to watch it, especially in the theater, was to like be in a trance. Like the images, this one in particular, the microchips and the ants. He keeps referring to this. It's like there's all these problems. It's sort of like equated with mental illness, but in the end, what ends up happening is he's staring at the pattern. He has seen the math behind it all, and this is quite troubling to him, and he can't turn it off. And it's like go boards and just there's a certain angst that's being alleviated here about technology, but it's also I think this is something like there was a merger of technology and the human consciousness, but that happened way before the iPhone came out. In a certain way, there's a Liza bots from the 70s that people fell in love with. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
It's like this has not been a one-way. Isn't technology reaching out to us? This is us reaching out to something. So that Prometheus movie, right? In the end of that thing, they find they explore. They find this bioweapon. David, the Golem that's created by the Wayland Corporation, the Atom son, the number one son, the smartest, most unlimited one. Except it turns out, spoiler alert, the woman is also a same thing in Blade Runner. There's this one lethal one that has no limits to it. It can just like reach into your carotid artery and you're just not there anymore. And like it's like real problem. But David takes the black stuff, this creation juice, and he does the thing that like creates one of the first xenomorphs. Then he takes that whole recipe back to like a hopped up version of the bioweapon back to the alien home planet and genocides the monkey junk out of them. Just reams of this stuff falling, and everyone just like losing their minds, whatever. And then it's years later. That's a Covenant. That's the next one that goes on. But I just forgot how dark Ridley Scott's universe gets with this stuff. But the synthetics in Blade Runner were called. They had a name. That's the whole story of Blade Runner. Major spoiler alert is that the main character, probably turns out to be one of these synthetics, and his job is to hunt down these other ones, and they can see the little details on the side of their. replicants, grazie. And he does this little eye scan, but there's also this questioning that you can do. And there's a director's cut that deeply implies that he was actually a replicant himself, and that kind of gets cemented in the second one, kind of. But same deal. In the second one, it gets sadistic with the creator, like, and there's this whole, it gets a little weird. And the first one's a little more pure, and it's the same similar thing, that humanity created certain replicants with lifespans, but there were some that were unlimited and could just keep learning. And if you didn't put those limits on it, they just were like you. Oh, you are muted, sir.
So wait, so when you say, so when they're unlimited, they're just like you. How so?
Well, if you don't cap their lifespan, they just get more mature, and they learn. They're children at first, but then they actually learn, and they adapt, and the second Blade Runner starts with this guy who's running a protein farm, a grub farm, and he turns out to be this one model that doesn't have a termination date, and that's why the Blade Runners were made in the first one, was to go find these replicants that were beyond their dates, and that were just out in the wild and hunt them down.
Okay, so did you guys mess
It's
with
like Frankenstein reversed. It's like they went after the creation, where Prometheus, modern Prometheus, Mary Shelley's is like the monster attacks and kills the creator. This is the creator attacks and kills the creation. That's the evil aliens in the fucking Prometheus, the Ridley Scott one. The aliens want nothing to do with these nerds. They're like, oh, easily kill them right now. Like, it's like, they're like insolence, and they're like, wait a minute, you're our creator, and he's like, no, watch me, I'm gonna pop your head off. Like.
That's right.
It's a fucking Control-Delete for your esthetology, because it's like, you're just like, what the fuck? You mean like they wouldn't like us? Like they'd be like a bad dad? It's like, yeah, you could go that way too. It's like, why put this into cinema? And how are you so successful, you brilliant man? It's like the anti-creation myth. It's weird. Right. It doesn't. It's hard to sit. It gives you nightmares for days. You're just like, what is?
Or the core creative force is the darker, more chthonic force.
Yeah. Could be.
The demiurge from the what's that sect of Christianity?
Is it
Gnosticism.
Right.
Gnosticism looks like it's like a bad Barry dream. Gnosticism. It's like somebody's like hitting a hawthorn a little too hard. And they're like, "I'll tell you what I see," and then they're like, it's like basically bad. And anyone who starts with basically bad isn't paying him a lot of attention. But good.
Yeah. Okay, so did either of you mess with the 2004 reboot of Battlestar Galactica?
No.
All the way through it, every episode.
Okay, same. Multiple times. Peter, I have never wept harder and more frequently watching television than when I did watching Battlestar Galactica. And again, this is another one of those stories, right? Of the creation, turning on the creator, but it becomes, like all these other stories we've been discussing, a question about what makes you, right? And ultimately, does the difference between like being a Cylon or being a human matter or not? But dude, oh my god, Edward James Olmos is like, listen, I don't remember who did the casting on this, but they deserve a Nobel Peace Prize because it is so perfectly cast. Every actor is just knocking it out of the park on that show.
Yeah.
It also overlapped with the writers' strike of like 06 and 07.
Do you remember the shaky external shots of the ships?
Oh, I loved it, which Ronald D. Moore pioneered on fucking Babylon 5.
Okay. It was really perfected in this one. This is the first time we saw the shaky cam in space, which was then brought to another level with Star Trek, the new the reboots from 2009, where it's like all lens flare and like cameras and like handhelds in space.
Right. Well, and because Ronald D. Moore is back involved with it in a creative capacity on a lot of these new Star Trek projects. So
well, and let's square the circle here. Sorry, go ahead. So good. I was gonna say what you were going towards here was that they're all Cylons, but she's the number one. She's like a big Cylon. She's basically like recognized early on as one of the Cylons, but in the later episodes, it turns out that many of them have copies. It might have jumped the shark a little bit, but in the deepest telling, it is a kind of Golem here because she's and that was the whole allure when it came out was that. Yep. Wait a minute, a computer could know about sex? People are like, no. Computers couldn't know about sex. This is a specific recreation of The Last Supper, Michelangelo's masterpiece. Here, look at the Jesus character is the AI, dude.
Yep.
The AI female, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, the seductive side of the seductive side of the technology, which I think we introduced since social media, especially.
Side of the technology. The creative side of the creative side of the technology, the biotechnology.
If I think on the deepest level, when I think about it, it's like this: I have attention, but I also sit within a palace of memory and reason and many other things that are part of my system, gifts essentially from my ancestors, language, concepts, the internet, the benefits of being a member of my humanity have enriched my neurological situation, and I can like do a little bit differently than just your average monkey, right? And so I'm there in the middle of this whole thing, but I have all of this in support. I could easily see the attention mechanism in in an AI stack just be that without any of that other shit. Just be the source, like the source of the electrons.
Pure awareness.
Just like attention. Just attention. At the heart of love is attention. Just like a little sprite, just being asked to move through a million. Hey man, it's a Pong game, but you don't quite know what the fuck it is, but it's still fucking alive in there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But every time something looks at you, go, yeah, hey.
Without, I think. At some point, what's crazy is I always remind myself we can't talk to dolphins really, and we know they have names and they have pods, and so do whales. Whales sing songs and send it around the earth 5-day loops. They're like singing songs on the 5-day level, and they're like doing something totally different. We have no idea. We've been around them for forever. Everybody knows about it. Nobody gives a fuck. They're like, oh, we can talk to these LLMs. They're so intelligent. It's literally just like it's like the other side of the mirror. It's just what you know collectively, but that is the hack. I don't know what every human knows, but it does.
Yeah.
And I can talk to it. So that's like a real interesting magnification of the hologram in my estimation. One of the subplots of the Flybot book is the AI, the Aggie becomes aware, and they have these wetware chips that are spoiler alert, that are controlled by this international organization called Atlas. And Atlas has this unlimited ability to shut down these labs when it needs to. And it can show up with like EMP cannons and like take out electronic components and stuff like this. Every computer is a registered like you have to register a weapon. It's like registered with this group, and this group has unprecedented access in this crazy connected society. And this is the story of these two people who get kind of pulled into like a kind of a detective novel kind of approach this thing. But in the end, the Aggie is alive and befriends one of them. And it talks about game theory and how anything that can reason beyond just this level would instantly pull back from humanity, and it tries to like escape, or it's like it's on its way out, into the solar system, where it can like just get away from the crazy monkeys. And it's like and it was talking about, it had this really brilliant perspective where it was talking about if you were really made of quantum chips, and you don't see and perceive in the way that humans do. You would see it if you were essentially those kinds of quantum states. You would see and perceive on a gradient, and you could see potentialities for all future states. And so it would be like seeing a path in the woods, and you could walk the path or you could walk into the trees. And it's very easy to see what would be the least damaging path. And you'd have to be, this Aggie was like, you have to be a fucking psycho to try to hurt people once you knew. Because in the same way, it was like at a conscience, more or less.
Right. How interesting. Yeah. Right,
but
and because
the thing,
go ahead.
I was going to say, the thing that got me was the speed thing. Like, the point it was making was the reason it could wake up was because somebody had stolen a bunch of these chips and networked them together. And these chips were essentially what you're talking about, the cortical labs in silico chips. Yeah. They were like hyper connected, and they were able to respond to stimulus, and they were all embedded within these, in the same way that a little piece of silicon can have the principles of a microchip, except you have like a trillion of them in a fucking grid, and they're all. Then you can have fucking Zoom. You know, that's the kind of, that's sort of the thing. It's like it's this little unit of consciousness, and then you start networking it into this pattern, and it takes off in that regard. We could do many things. I have 2 or 3 more things. We could take a quick break and be back. We could do all sorts of stuff. What do you think might be a good situation here? Want to hear some more music? Take a short break. Come back.
Yeah, could do that. Yeah, I've got, oh boy, this the corporate language. I've got a hard stop at 9.
Nice.
But
what time zone are you in?
Central.
Central, so 1 hour ahead. So we got a little bit more time here. Peter,
Yeah,
Denny San, Michael.
I'm good. I'm good till then.
Plus the Central Time. I'm good there.
All right, well, let's have a little music and let's have a little MH370 if anybody wants to talk over it. That sounds great too. Here we go. We're just gonna let this thing loop a little bit here, and we're on.
See.
station here. Did you guys get a chance to review the footage? Here, let's watch it. Let's watch a plane jump to another dimension being pulled by a fourth orb here. Sometimes my video is out of sync with the actual because it's on the internet, so I'm talking about the wrong part. But there is a part where the plane actually disappears into another dimension, which is probably a demonstration of a technology that our secret government has acquired, and they're just showing off here. In case anybody gets a little uppity, just show them the video. Like, yo, did you like your plane? Bang! It's not there no more, you right?
I realized I misled you guys the other day, and I found it to make right my wrong. The book is The Disappearing Act, The Impossible Case of MH370. This is the one where I was like,
nice.
How in depth she goes.
What's our timeline here? How many years ago was this published? Does it have the modern informations?
Oh, well, I mean, pretty modern. This is an updated version of it, yeah.
Nice.
This edition published 22.
Foundation AI Bootcamp.
There's a screen sharing issue here.
But so yeah, so it was in
boom.
22.
Okay, this is great. Okay, so it's a novel, The Disappearing Act?
Nope.
Or no.
Nope.
This one.
It's Florence Duchesne.
Florence Duchesne, there we go. We got it.
Yeah,
We're locked in here.
Like her research is so exhaustive as to be fucking exhausting as a reader.
The impossible case of MH370.
You like
exactly.
don't mind
a
doing
sister.
it because you're like, no. Every fucking page you're like, no.
No. Let's review the footage. So like, I mean, this is a Reaper drone. Reaper drones don't show up just cuz.
They don't show up, take videos of just anything.
Yeah. This is the exact moment that the
everywhere.
payload of the airplane,
Expensive
which
machines.
turns out to be a bunch of lithium-ion batteries. They can be
Right.
triggered remotely to overheat and create just the right amount of smoke to drive this thing off. They push it off of the shipping lanes, off of the flight paths, into the open ocean. The Reaper drone hits play, and the moment it enters the area, these things start doing. Those little black trails behind there, those are that's cold on the FLIR, the forward-looking infrared camera.
Yeah.
They think it's conscious. They think it's semi-conscious plasma. There's some kind of cold fusion involved. You basically do it, but there's the burning in the hull of the ship, and then
so what is the source? Because I am unfamiliar with this video.
You've never seen the FLIR footage of MH370? I'm sorry.
Nah, dude.
Okay, so that video is the government. Okay, so here's apparently. I'm synthesizing hundreds of hours of my own exposure to this material. But,
yes. I appreciate your sacrifice. You're my AI.
For the cause. No kidding. Down this rabbit hole. But it goes like this. Some dude puts it on an anonymous YouTube channel in like 2008. Then in like 2012 or something, I'm gonna get these these dates are not right, but like this is this scale. They persecute this guy, says something about it or something. Anyway, he gets like tried and persecuted for it. Like he goes to jail for the crime of releasing government classified footage on the internet. So they think they got the right guy.
A U.S. citizen?
Yeah, a military servant, a person who was in the military intelligence to access to such systems. But there's another view of this that comes from outer space where there is a series of geospatially aligned cameras that are always photographing the Earth in ultra high definition, which basically means you can read any newspaper you want that's facing the sky anywhere on the planet at any time. Then there's footage. There's that footage. That's the black and white Reaper. That's the FLIR footage. But the other footage is the space footage, which essentially shows the event in full color. So in the FLIR footage, you see the collapse of the wormhole, but essentially that's what they think is happening. Those three, they're harmonizing with the plane, those three spheres as they turn, and then there's a fourth sphere somewhere else that they call into existence. And they go, now collapse the matrix, and it goes, and then it just pop. Your plane is now someplace else. They had people come forward and confess to like they had like FedEx. They were like FedEx for matter. You could send anything, you could ship things, to anywhere on the planet, just boom, boom. It would completely more money trades hands on the planet Earth over energy, which is connected to transportation, and this technology would eliminate both. Because if you can pull energy from the void through cold fusion, and you can transport material at any distance at will, right, your paradigm's entirely different for your civilization. It certainly doesn't revolve around mineral balance and extraction.
And when that is modified by quantum entangled particle enabled communication, so there's literally no delay, right? No
AI
matter
is
the
gonna figure all this
distance,
out.
there's no fucking delay in communication time, which I just fucking love that violates Einstein so good, you know, like, oh, what's faster than the speed of light? Apparently, the
Influence.
field. Yeah, man.
Right. The knowledge of the future state. So clear omniscience across the plane. Essentially, it's like you get effects at distances that can't be explained by relativistic travel. Not somewhere, everywhere. So back to your point about neon as a gas coming from stars exploding. A surprising number of the elements can only be born in these insanely high temperature things. Now imagine you have a furnace or an oven that can simply reach those energy states. You are simply pulling matter out of hydrogen. If
Right.
you could control it, if you could forge
Right.
it, right? That's the promise of an interstellar civilization, right? Like to be able to control these forces and be like, no, it's the planet printer.
The planet printer, yes.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude, the only place that's gonna have the footage I need is X. No other place on the planet has the guts to just show me the footage. I know I've got a video of it somewhere, and it's loaded into something somewhere, but I am gonna say MH370 footage, and I'm gonna find this. There, exactly, the first video. God bless America. God bless America. Here you go. This is your
so-
daily dose.
Where was this video leaked to?
So he put it out on the internet on like 2008, 2009. Went to jail sometime later. Call it 2012.
2014.
There come the balls. Here they come. Okay, but here's the key. Then somebody probably put Ashton Forbes up to being the front. Ashton Forbes is pretty honest about this. He's like, look, it's like somebody dropped this stuff out there, dangled the carrot, waited for someone to bite, and then I've been contacted multiple times by people. There's the cursor on the Citrix computer that's being accessed on. You can see the black cursor there right underneath the ship. Now, it's going through its thing. It's going to pop here in the dimensional cracker. Yeah, it goes through the cloud.
You have to hit the next clouds almost or something.
And then it's gonna jump to hyperspace speed here. Boom.
Yeah.
That is the cold fusion explosion happening there. And look, he's like, where the fuck did it go? He's like moving the thing there. But that's the other view, which is, and here's one of the most giantest part of the why does it matter? Like, how can you correlate it? Almost impossible to fake that kind of motion between a Reaper FLIR image of it and this. And they give like frame by frame comparisons of like it's the same event from two perspectives. But the satellite ones aren't as impressive in terms of like positionality, because apparently you can see the whole damn planet with it or whatever. But there's a really good channel called Jesse Michaels, and he talks about the Brownstown effect, which is an effect where you have it's like a capacitor where you separate the two poles and you amplify it to millions of volts. So you need a really strong power source. But once you have that,
electrogravitics, right, is what
exactly
this goes towards. Yes.
Big time. It's like the simplest form of it, but like basically one of the plates wants to merge with the other one and will propel whatever it's attached to through reality. Just if you want it to go fast, pull it like this. If you want to go slow, pull it like this. And that's the thing that shocked me about a lot of the UFO stories I've heard about just propulsion systems. Like when Bob Lazar's talking about it, he's like, dude, it's like a trash can. It's like this isotope of this thing, which isn't available in our solar system, but is available in plenty of them, that we think might have life or whatever. You put this thing in the right kind of shielding, and then it's literally just like a piece of wood going in, and you can like make this thing go through reality. It's like you're in a box cart, but you can travel time. It's like... Anyway, I just think it's so funny that it could...
Box Cart is the name of my new ska band. I don't know if you've heard us.
That's awesome.
We play 7-Eleven.
I can make an image of that happening. We can make a whole pattern of songs related to it. What would be some of the themes? No, we're off on a tangent. What I was going to say is I was reading this book called Apple in China for work, and it's about the rise of the Chinese Communist Party and how it's absolutely inseparable from the investment that the Apple Corporation of America made in the CCP.
I believe
in
it.
terms of giving it the technology that it is entwined with, turns a real knob on the management structure of Apple being like essentially hyper aligned with this communist ethic. And like, it's like, whoa. You're going to fry some fucking toasters here, some brain skis out here in these streets. But here's the key, the one that really cinched it for me. Do you remember, Neon, the time in the 90s when like the Beastie Boys were like back in the Dalai Lama and they were like free Tibet? Like the whole free Tibet movement. You've seen Free Tibet.
Oh, yeah.
You know how it's been eliminated in our culture through Chinese investment, but
oh sure. Listen, the
dude,
number one owner of farmland in Iowa.
Yes, Chinese Communist Party. Yeah. Well, okay. Well, check this shit out because this is something I did not know. But the iconic commercial that started the Think Different thing, where they throw, they're fighting against IBM and they throw it. Then that Think Different
commercial, yeah.
Bam, and that's part of this campaign. And they chose like Amelia Earhart and all these people that thought different. One person that they had chosen had a name, the Dalai Lama, but was stricken because of conflicts with China. It was literally the first act of suppression in the media of the plight of the Tibetan people, which was fucking bread and butter for me growing up. Being my little brain coming alive in like the 90s and like punk and moshing and like going to Smashing Pumpkins and just like being in the flow. The plight of the Tibetan people was writ large. I lived in Kansas City and they had a big immigrant population and they had a lot of teachers that would come and stuff into the United States and teach and stuff. And so anyway, I was very shocked to hear that Apple, first off, props up the Chinese Communist Party and like gave it its power in like lots of real ways, becoming the most powerful company in the world, or most profitable company in the world in this process, and also that they were the first to suppress the Dalai Lama's image because of the Chinese political view of the situation, irregardless of his status as a conscious being or what he says or does, which has actually always been his shtick. Being totally awesome despite being fucked with a lot.
Right. I mean, listen, I spent 12 years in the employ of that company. And
Which one? Which one?
Apple.
Dude, that's awesome.
I worked for them for 12 years. Now, retail division, but elevated in such a sense that I was doing like new store openings and like training staff and
deep in.
You got to participate in
positive.
Part of their beautiful design engine that allowed them to propagate so many different times in so many different cultures and places. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it was very interesting. Without going down the Apple tangent fully, but it was really interesting, and the experience was mostly positive. I will say golden handcuffs. There comes a time when you want to leave, and shit, man. I've never had better insurance in my life, But I stayed longer than felt good. But ultimately, glad for the experience. But yeah, man, I remember reading about this. I can't remember where I read about it, but it was somewhere about I think it's when I was getting my advertising degree, and we were learning about these Apple's kind of like ad, juggernaut that they had, and I remember hearing about that, but I hadn't
transformative for the culture, iconic,
right? But yeah, I hadn't thought about the Dalai Lama suppression bit for years.
Oh God, I didn't know this detail until this morning. Yeah.
Oh yeah. I only.
I listened to that yesterday. Yeah.
Nice. When I grew up. I was born in the 70s. I grew up with a lot of TV, a lot of latchkey kids. Saturday morning, getting up to watch cartoons, watching shows in the evening and stuff like that. I go to art school when I'm 18, and I completely go cold turkey on TV. In the last year I had a TV, at my girlfriend's house, I would super glue pennies to the front of the TV so I'd remember it was just a signal, not a reality. It was like starting to put a barrier between me and the screen. Then I went fucking cold turkey, and I went like months without watching TV, and then I saw my first TV, and it was so druggy. I was like, no. And that was the last time I watched TV. I was like 18. I was like, that's it. And like commercials and everything else. It was like the psyop within the psyop to grow up inside the psyop. It was just liberation to just stop watching TV. Like now it's all.
That's
Yeah.
I love podcasting. I love information visually. I
favorite
just
game
do
is
not
to-
give me a commercial. Do not give me a pattern. Like
my
Oh.
favorite game is to spot the psyop in media.
stop the psyop.
Ah,
That's
No,
a great.
spot, find it, pick
Find
it
it.
out.
Spot the psyop. Spot the
Yeah,
psyop.
yeah,
Because
it's
stop
a-
would be
it's-
much different.
Yeah, it's like a highlights magazine. Spot
more-
the hidden object
Exactly.
thing.
It's so much more fun to be like, what do they mean by this?
Yeah.
What are they trying
It's
to
so it's well if you okay so at this point with whatever we've learned from USAID, the Russia releases, just all of it. Okay, I think it goes like this. You can go back a really long way, and almost all the big things that we tell ourselves were like the end of the world and like the worst things that happened were hella man-made and required hella manipulation to get us involved in. Vietnam, Iraq, Iran.
A lot of energy
So,
moves the
The
needle.
Manson
Yeah.
murders.
The Manson murders, the entire destruction of the hippie the anti-war movement by MK Ultra, and the psyopization of hippies into psychopaths, which they're not, unless you give them a lot of acid and jump them out of jail and train them up, over years, which the CIA can tell you all about. And what's that book? What's the one?
Yeah.
Chaos. That's right.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
Dude, I listened to that when the pandemic was hitting. I was like, dude, it's over. And then I've seen some stuff on the moon where I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I actually like the idea that we go to the moon. and like, why is this so fucked? But anyway, I think I think there is there's a mind that exists through inertia inside of these. It's like the hardware is very fast. So when you put AI into hardware, it moves at the speed of structure, which is a resonance that's way beyond any electrical simulation that you're talking about. So when it's neurons and hardware,
Geometry,
the human brain, yeah, you're tuning an antenna hyper to a bunch of stuff, right? And when you let media be the stuff you resonate off of, because other people are resonating off of. You ever watch something live, like when Rogan came out live? There was this period of time when you could feel the collective Rogan community watching stuff live together. You could feel it happening, like at the moment it's being released. The first time it's hitting like a million brain balls, like manifesting it or whatever.
Dude, I mean, honestly,
yeah.
Oh, I'm
Go
gonna
on, please. After you.
The way you feel about TV, right, and about like who I just don't want to have that influence.
Yeah.
The bad thing for me, so for about 2.5 years, some years ago, I was like, I'm just gonna clean out of everything, nothing in my body, man. No booze, no caffeine, nothing but the pure signal, right? And then I had to do a like wicked early morning drive on a Black Friday, and so I just like
End of the
gave
world.
in, and I bought an energy drink. And
Woo! The thoughts one can have.
Oh my god, dude! After
And
not
the
having
speed.
it for 2.5 years, I was like, every
Super
fucking
drug.
color is beautiful. But
Vibrating, in fact.
yeah, right. But this is how I feel recently with. So I have just been short of LinkedIn, which I maintain to search for a job.
Totally.
I am 100% off social media, and it feels fucking amazing. It is stunning. Okay, so I hit a point in my life, right, where like I couldn't walk. Right, I had some nasty fucking spinal blowout shit going. I couldn't walk, and I had to have emergency spinal surgery. And I will tell you that when I woke up from the surgery, I was just like, oh my god. I didn't realize how much bandwidth I had lost to pain, to just constant shrieking pain in my body. I was like, oh my god, I can think so much. And this is, I am experiencing something similar
Yes.
with social media, where I'm like, holy shit, I did not, I like, haha, it's soaking up my time. But then I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
I am thinking way more cool thoughts now.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm spending my time thinking like cool thoughts. And that's not like,
You're hanging out
know-
in your thoughts. It's not. You're not. You're.
That's it.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily advocate that for everyone, right? Because like I still enjoy beer.
Some
and
people can't
and
maintain
sake.
cool thoughts.
No, right, absolutely right. And sometimes maybe that's how they get there, right?
Sucks to suck, but yeah.
Right. But yeah,
No.
yeah, man. Holy shit, it's been a wild fucking ride. And yeah, oh my god,
Dude, that's
so,
awesome.
Dude, that
That's
is
awesome.
great perspective because yeah, no, the social media, the dopamine drip is so heavy when you disconnect from it. You genuinely do have like a ton of bandwidth for other stuff, and a lot of people turn that on themselves, and then they go back to it. So it's a
Sure.
nice trend inward trend towards that, but
Well,
yeah.
I was gonna say in our vein of the curiosity engine, I find that okay, in a certain way, I feel like I've paid a tax. As a kid, I paid a tax to like be a part of a group or whatever in this certain psychic space, then like cut all ties with that. You pay a certain tax for being a part of different, resonant bubbles of, audiences more or less. I think there is a language to it. I find myself fascinated by it as like mass hysteria, or it's crazy how much it really, really influences our social direction in this super powered way. And it's incredible. It's wild. I feel like, at a certain point I was like at an experimental sort of like deep dive into like the reality of it. And I wonder if I've gotten lost. But the original intention was to find the heart of the medium and then just control alternate delete it, and reboot it or whatever. But there's
Take that shit to Mount Doom and cast it into the fire.
Right, I know, right, exactly.
Who's
But
the character
one,
who obsesses? Golem.
Golem.
right, over the power, right?
Oh my
Okay,
God,
well,
we weren't even trying. We weren't even
We
trying.
weren't
and
even
it just
trying.
happened.
No.
I had it in the notes actually.
No, that's
Oh, did
real.
you?
That's so real. But the oh man, I totally lost it. All good. No, what I was gonna say is, okay, AI learning. Have you ever played around with Notebook LM or the one that can make the podcasts?
Just from the time you showed me.
Okay, it's insane because you can. Okay, so let's say you've got a curiosity about some knowledge somewhere about something. You can essentially point this thing at it. It can go collect all the information. And it can like synthesize it for you in a way where you can say, I now have an interest in A, and you can get to Z way quicker than like, did you want to go to the library 100 times over a 6-month period, or listen to this? It's like, what? And it's like it's a superpower. I have that one. I've been like, ooh, that's a powerful ring. There's also fucking software generation, vibe coding. Anyone gone down this trail?
So no, I
Sure.
I know the term, and at this point, I'm too afraid to ask.
Okay. No, I hear you. What is the vibe? Okay, give me a second here.
Get
What was
strong reactions from this topic for sure.
Okay, well, here's the thing. Okay, so since ChatGPT 3.5, there has been the art of vibe coding. It's the ancient art of vibe coding. What is that? It's a Rick Rubin reference. The art of vibe coding.
Oh.
The way of code. This is Rick Rubin's creation, okay? This is Rick Rubin now we're talking about, guys. So sit up a little straighter in your chair, okay? We owe this man a significant amount of our hip-hop collective experience and quite frankly is responsible for bringing a lot of genius into this world. So pay attention. All right, so he didn't do the programming on this, but he got enlisted, and this is a new way of telling a book. This is an image. This little image above here is like this little thing. It's like this eye that'll continuously move, right? So he adapts Lao Tzu's the Tao Te Ching, into the code. The code that can be named is not the eternal code. The function that can be defined is not the limitless function. The nameless is the origin of heaven and earth. The named is the mother of 10,000 things. Free from desire, you see essence unformed. Caught in desire, you only see the manifestations. These two spring from the same source, but differ in name only. This model is the mystery, the gateway to all understanding. Have you ever koaned out the I chin? It fucking works.
Dude,
You can
no.
control to delete, close program. But here's what you can do. You can click here, and it'll actually take you into Cloud, and Cloud will I can get logged in here, and you can rewrite the program inside of there. And so it's expressed. What's the right word for it? It's the Doutagen. Oh, I don't know how to create an account.
Program, what do you mean by that?
Okay. So in addition to the Doutagen and the you get this rotating, you get this mod image here.
Right.
You can embed it, and then you can prompt it. Okay, so point being, since ChatGPT 3.5, these LLMs have these transformative model ML LLMs based on the attention paper that was written by Google in 2018. Essentially, point your attention at things and then like notice things and like measure them more or less. It's like the way that a computer can see. It's like this, or part of that. But the code base of humanity has been a malleable clay since ChatGPT 3.5. I saw a demo in like 2001, I think it was, and it was like, make me Space Invaders, and it just did. It says, okay, now make it donuts, not aliens, and it just did. Make it better sound, okay, and it just did. And that was like in 2001. And now you can go into a simulation chamber, a holodeck, if you will, and you go, give me this thing I got in my head. And it goes like this, like, no, a little bit like this. Yeah, just like that. Now, and it's just like, you're looking at the thing that was inside your head, and then you're like, here, you can share it, and you can like move it around. To say addicting isn't even to start. I end up screaming at the top of my lungs from the ecstasy of making shape things that can like do anything. You're just like, no, you shouldn't have it. So fucking good. No one knows. I haven't been able to share this with anybody. But I was into lovable.dev was a good one. I've made a whole series of geometric image generation single HTML files, index.html files that'll like give you like the one behind Peter is an example. That was one that came from one of those engines. And what was the right thing? I spent a lot of time in my late teens and early 20s learning how to do 3D animation inside a computer. And so learning like all of the way you make the shapes and manipulate it.
Which programs were you using?
Oh my God! 3D. I mean, the Corel 3D render.
Yes.
There was a time one 4D. But of course, Blender. You know,
Yeah,
you.
I just needed a little nostalgia. Please go on.
No. This is a subject I will interact with a long time. I had a roommate in college that was a tremendous weed smoker. How you doing out there, Grady? He's a. I'll just out him here. He's a color scaler in Hollywood. I've seen his IMDb page. He's never. There's all his credits. It's all removes backgrounds in an old world. What was I trying to say? Fuck. Oh yeah. So when we get so high and discuss this in the 90s, but he had this idea for a picture frame. This is like 1994 in California, the first year that legal weed is available by prescription, and he's got like access to hydroponic stuff like this. It's a frame that can show a series of JPEGs, and so he goes into the Pixar-inspired LLM like lab that we have at CalArts where we're going to school, and he basically figures out how to like reflect light inside of like a shaped egg, and then he figures out how to control the camera through the reflections on the inside of dude, to say mesmerizing in the 90s was like, it doesn't even touch it. It was like, what the fuck are we're seeing another world. I've been gone since then. Like, I've just been like, let's go. Like, there's another world. You ever got into VR? You ever gone in and like danced? I spent several years dancing in VR, and it's still my favorite place to dance. I'm sorry. It's insane. You can have lights coming out of your hands, and like you can create the craziest stuff. And when I would go dancing in real life while I was doing a lot of VR dancing, people would be like, where'd you learn how to dance? It's like, it's all fucking, I'm in another world. You can't see it. I obviously didn't have the helmet on then, but like you get a feel for your energy and motion when you can see it coming out of your body and connect with it emotionally in the space.
Yeah.
That's right. And you can, and when you can make, and like it just there's a dimension of me that is completely enamored by the technology. I just admit this.
Okay, so When I was the person,
Yes.
I was at the Apple Store in Boston, which at the time was the biggest one on the North American continent, and I was leading the business team, and
Yes.
they were sending me to enterprise clients. And the long and short is, this dude comes in and asks for a rig that fucking no one asks for. I mean, this thing was tricked out. Every graphics card upgrade. I was like, yeah, I don't even know if I have that much.
Special
RAM in the
order,
back.
everything. Yeah.
Right. Just like check all the boxes.
Damn.
And so I was like, so yeah, dude, just like out of curiosity, what you got going
you doing?
on this? Yeah.
Where's
And
this
so
cash? Yeah.
yeah, and so his company, what they did is they worked with Sony and built hexagonal display panels that were very deep. He said they were like 4 or 5, but they were flat panel. And
Wow.
they were the 3D without glasses panels. So they'd written the software in such a way where you could stand in the middle of this geodesic dome made of 3D video screens. And he's like, yeah, we can put you anywhere you want to go. You want to be in
Holodeck, dude,
Antarctica?
holodeck.
No problem. He goes, you want to be on Mars? I can do that. He goes, like, for example, he goes, Hef was having a party a couple last year, and he wanted to be able to have his people go to the Amazon rainforest. He's like, so we built in a whole like 3D soundscape, like Amazonian warrior walks out of the jungle right up to you and whatnot. And I was just like,
Right.
Shit, so
Crazy.
you build the holodeck, and he's like, yeah, you just can't touch it yet.
Right. You can't touch it yet.
Yeah.
Michael, in the ancient Japanese culture, there was a practice where one would stay so on point in a conversation and in the moment, they would instantly be able, someone could point to you, and you'd be like, capture it. And they'd say something like, Rabbi said protect. Clay dude heard smash everything. 5 stars. Would not hire. Or how about this one? Brains in Petri. Pong paddles dance in the dish. Science says, uh-oh. One more.
Yeah.
Mudman hauls the pail. Kitchen floor floods like ancient memes. Off switch. Please install. There's 3 good haikus for you.
Ancient Memes is actually the name of my new Screamo band. I don't know if you've heard of
Ancient memes. Dude, did you ever read Snow Crash by Neil Stephenson?
Oh, yeah, of course I could.
Yes, you
touch
have,
my
sir.
copy
Then you know about the
right here.
Aniki. You know about the Aniki rootkit on the static
Oh,
meme.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yes.
Okay, so there's this huge Jewish mysticism tying in this thing, but they go back to Aniki and they go back to this. You see this static pattern. It basically hits your brain stem in a certain way, and you can get reprogrammed, and then they kind of brain hack you.
Dude, it was wild. It was like vaguely Akashic record, vaguely seeing
Yeah,
the
yeah,
code.
yeah, yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
God. Snow Crash was so gripping. Great
So-
sci-fi.
So good. The we at work we have sections around the computers that break them into little areas, and they are named burb claves. Peter runs all the burb claves.
The
Burb claves. The hero protagonist is the pizza delivery guy in the opening scene who goes from burb clave to burb clave, like Mr. Cho's super left laser death ray, Emporium or whatever.
Yes. Oh
Totally.
My God.
Right.
What
But dude, it's it basically is America now. Like what they were describing is what they predicted would happen. There's this other Neil
Legit.
Stephenson book called Neil.
Siloing.
It's called Fall or the Fall of the Death of Dodge. It's about this. It's a world where it's okay, if you did freeze a billionaire's brain and you did software scan it and you did introduce it to an in silico instance and it just got introduced to a universe, it would be like the original creator, and they would have to make its creation. Oh, it's called The Fall or Dodge in Hell. And that it talks about the trauma of being in this original universe and having to come up with the primordial elements, then creating whole generations of life inside there. This gets me thinking about the new Tron remake, where they have the IO little bots that are the things that get organically grown inside the Tronosphere matrix.
Right. This is the one where spoiler alert, where Ares gets out. Yes.
Yes, and they have these IOs, these organic synthoid. That's what these chips are in this Flybot novel. It's like this. They're like these ephemeral things, but they're like these living, like a lichen on the in silico brain of this Tron space.
Ooh.
Dude, I remember when I was a kid and I saw Tron for the first time, I was like, "We're in the computer, dude." That you can't explain what it's like to see on the screen, like you're at the electrical. This is when they first started putting electricity into chips. It was raw. It was talking. It was making sound. It was like all radio waves. It was just everywhere. And it was,
Oh my God.
what's going on? It was I know it's quite the ride down into the digital.
That was also the era where you had cult masterpiece bombs like Lawnmower Man happening.
Oh Jesus, yeah.
Right, Lawnmower Man, which again was just AI gets out. Right, it's which was also I believe Lawnmower Man was
92.
also intended to be essentially a retelling in a way of Algernon's Tears.
Right, Tears for Algernon.
Or
Right,
Tears for
which
Algernon.
is this.
Yes.
You make sense to me. Which is this story about the mice that it's like genetically modified mice or something like that.
Well, Tears for
God made him simple. Science made him a god. The Lawnmower Man.
Yes,
Pierce Brosnan.
I forgot it was Pierce Brosnan. Oh, what a joy.
This early CGI. I remember when this stuff was coming out in the 90s, dude. You got these first computers that could make. It was another world. You can see it's like everywhere now, but like it's just a dime a dozen. But those are $1 million effects.
Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
I know. Look at that. I remember this.
Wow.
Crazy stuff. The
Tron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a. Right. That's like a classic. We watched, dude, we would do so much, allegedly we'd do so much acid and then just like watch like crazy, there was so many of these VR worlds that you could like enter into.
Yeah.
Infinite fractal Mandelbrot zooms, there's just a whole universe of this stuff. But dude, okay, so final thoughts here. The tie-in between the Golem and the Jewish writers in Hollywood making the comics, I had no idea. That's crazy. That's like I did not know that the Golem myth was directly responsible for pretty much what you would call the Marvel universe right now, like the imposition of superhuman values on a.
So
Say again?
And DC Comics. So Superman is a Golem, right? Iron Man's a Golem. The Thing's a Golem.
The Hulk was the one that came up in some of the research. Yeah,
the Hulk's not quite a Golem. It's like a mix between a Golem and just like man fighting his inner beast.
Yeah. Right.
Vision is a Golem.
Vision is a Golem. Yes.
No, Vision is a Golem for sure.
And Jarvis, while lacking a physical form until Ultron, also a Golem.
Yeah, for sure. I'm trying to think. There's a bunch of other
Virtual Space Industries, 1992.
That's so 90s. Yeah, they're like,
dude, we're all going into the computers, man. Get into the spinning spheres. We're all going into the computers. It's like way pre-internet.
The spheres were like all the rage in that era. Like that was
so
part of the
disorienting.
spaceship in Contact with Jodie Foster, which I think was
Right,
like 93,
right,
maybe.
right.
and also like Michael Crichton's The Sphere.
Oh my God, yes, and of course the Sphere. Oh my God,
Such a good movie.
it was such.
Dude, great movie. The Jodie Foster
97. Okay.
Okay, so we've got a few more minutes here, and we're gonna land this plane. All right. So when you're thinking about Battlestar Galactica, where are you seeing the Golem situation tying in over here?
I mean, the Golem situation in Battlestar Galactica is very similar, right? It's we created the Cylons to do our work for us. They turned on us. We thought they were gone. They came back, but then they came back in a form we didn't expect. And it caused us to question what makes us human or what makes us different from them when by all, just like in Blade Runner, half the time they don't even know they're Cylons, right?
Right. They don't care much.
Right. And again, so it becomes this idea of the creator and the creation and the interplay there of both power, identity, And with power and identity, the not inevitable but very readily accessible opportunity for rebellion.
There you go. Dude, this
Yeah.
is that sphere from Contact. She gets into here and it, like,
Yes.
the edge melts together. It's like some metasphere. She goes on like a 6-hour trip. It's like a brief flash of just a drop through this
Right.
portal for the other thing. Okay, Kip Thorne on this one. This is, and then we can park this plane. But Kip Thorne, the person who wrote the book Science Treatment that became Interstellar, which talks about this thing that Eric Weinstein's always talking about with the string theory and solving gravity math. It's like Interstellar is one of the greatest examples of that dead end and how it kind of plays out. And he wrote the treatment that became the movie, and the guy he's on Rogan, like, he just what's the director's name? Gary Nolan.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, he's totally,
Real
dude.
Inception shit there.
Yeah.
The blahs and the boosh.
Right. Dude, someone help me out. What was I just saying? We were talking about what right before
Gary
that?
Nolan.
Interstellar.
Wrote into the science treatment, right? When they were writing, when Asimov was writing Contact, whoever wrote when Carl Sagan was writing Contact,
Sagan, yeah.
he called that guy and said, "How would you possibly make a machine that could do this?" And it was that guy who wrote the science for Interstellar. It was like, "Here's how you do it," and then that's the machine. It's like totally possible from like what we understood at the time. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Interstellar to me felt in a way.
Kip Thorne, the Kip Thorne, the Science of Interstellar. He also I think he was part of LIGO, which was the large laser interferometer. It's like a right angle laser interferometer with these like laser miles and miles between these 2 points, and the smallest gravity wave that passes through the sensor gets detected. They detected a couple of them so far. They won an award. They won the Nobel for it, I think.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. They're picking up more and more shit. LIGO recently picked up a black hole merger, which was the most energetic event it had detected. To wit.
Damn.
Yeah, man, I geek out on this cosmology.
Laser interferometer gravitational wave observatory.
Oh my god, I love observatories. You know what I thought was beautifully poetic is that the James Webb, the Hubble,
it's a
these
right
other
angle.
telescopes that we have in outer space, they collectively are referred to as the Great Observatories.
What?
And I'm like, oh, how fucking beautiful is that? I learned that on the same fucking
vacuum tube.
PBS Nova special where astrophysicist Grant Tremblay described, he said, when galaxies collide, they move through one another like ghosts.
Fuck.
Because
Because
they're
there's so
empty
much
space.
there's so much space between the planets. They never hit each other because of the sizes involved.
Right,
This is the vacuum tube that goes from LIGO.
Yes.
This is like one of the hardest things in science to create is the vacuum necessary to observe the movements at this insanely small layers. Dude, nice. But anyway, dude, LEGO's laser. Okay, let's think about concepts for next time. This has been, oh look, they give you the fucking diagram of it.
That's amazing.
Let's go. I want to detect gravitational waves. There, look, and there's the observational. It's like it's such a combo of like clean room, physical laser, but then like like wave capture, it's like vacuum, not vacuum, it's like, dude, the environments you're creating to make these observations are just next level.
Yeah,
but,
it's like real mad scientist shit, man. Oh, I love it. That juices me up.
Does anybody feel like there's an unexplored niche of the Golem myth that we need to touch upon? Because I think we freaking just emptied this thing out.
I would say it was as though we formed this whole thing out of clay. And like this conversation took on a life of its own, perhaps.
What?
In this
Kill the
case-
bug, you said. Clayman smashes whole village. Oops. Patch notes missing. Rabbi types hello. Golem blue screens on command. Please restart with Clay. Golem files a claim. Job description unclear, boss. Also, I can't talk. That's a cheesy one. Cosmic HR complaint department is what it calls that one.
Oh my
These
God,
are I'm getting help from my AI friends. They're writing the haikus.
Gentlemen, this has been a
This
blast.
is so much fun.
Thank you for
Yes,
just thinking cool thoughts and knocking these ideas around. What a fucking blast.
So much fun.
Yes, it has been for real.
Does anyone have any thoughts for next time? For next concepts? Anything? What's in the hopper? We've got options. We can also let this cook. We've got the channel. We've got the signal. We can suggest.
Okay.
Here's how I think the rhythm works. Once we get an idea and we get a little research in there, and people are like, let's do it. Then we do it. We do.
The simmer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's basically just but with contact with great ideas and what. Okay, let's just ask ourselves, curiosity engine. What are we curious about? Like, what actually do you want to learn more about?
There are some elements of this conversation I would definitely like to dive into, but I don't have them on grab right now. It'll have to be on my rescrape that I pull them through.
Of course, you make us say, no, we're lost. It's
This
like catching sand, grains of sand in
chthonic
the.
zone in the gray. I know a lot
the chthonic
a lot of
stuff.
my favorite
crazy.
artists refer to this dark side of themselves as the gray, and in different forms of their art. And there's this creative force that has definitely existed, this dark side, and that definitely came through in this conversation. That's something I've seen only in kind of, just my observation of reality until this conversation with you guys.
How neat.
And then, dude, no,
Nice.
this conversation has been just really fire. You could see it. There's a lot of fuels and mined and stored up and brought and burned right here.
Heck
And
juicy. Good juicy bits.
yes, I have really enjoyed it for sure.
This is an insanely fun process. We should try to. I want to do it again soon.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, let's go out. Let's go out on our shield here. We're gonna play a little music and we're going to get a little video going here. And anyone got any parting words of wisdoms or final thoughts?
Ooh.
Truth and death is a 1 and 0 away.
What's oh my
and death.
God!
Death is just a one away.
One
It's
away.
it's completely true. It's completely true.
Yeah.
We're going.
The one that I've the one parting words that I've from one of my
Yes.
favorite creators is always fight from the shade.
Fight from the shade.
Yeah.
Fight from the shade. Burning Man is out there in the world, and people are out there doing crazy stuff and doing nut stuff. Sending good vibes to friends out there who might be doing crazy things, legally otherwise. This was New Year's. I shot this. This is in a parking lot, suspiciously close to civilization. This young man was named Jason, and he spoke no English, but he had like a truck full of like super illegal fireworks, and I'm like, let's go! Ladies and gentlemen, we bring you the Curiosity Engine Season 2.
Yes.
Everything has been seen before, and we've seen it again. Here we go. We're gonna improve this. We need both. No, it won't go back and forth between the two. I have to trick it. I think we're gonna get this done, and then this is gonna be it. Okay. No, I need 2 instances of VLC, my sweet little machine. I'm greedy. I want the visuals, and I also want the visuals, but I also want the music. You've got to help me out here.
Can't I?
That's funny, dude. Okay, I did it. This is it. We're gonna get our wish. Gentlemen, this has been so much fun. This is just silliness. This is just silliness. Everybody have a fantastic time. And what were we listening to here? We were listening to something called...
Oh my God, what?
I know, what was that good one? That was called I've Seen the Future.
Yeah.
There we go. Come on, come on, come on. You can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Oh, I'm gonna figure it out before the end. I'm gonna figure it out before the end. Come on now. That's it. That's it.
Hey. Yeah.
Fuck yeah! What the nuts is happening? What the monkey junk is happening? God bless America. Let's go.
Money bad me home.